Today marks the beginning of a crazy and illogical story, as Deadpool goes insane to the point where his actions send the Marvel Universe into oblivion. The comic starts with an observer trying to convey the message that everything eventually comes to an end. For one world, this event fills them with a sense of calm, while another dimension feels the terrible pain of imminent destruction. The Fantastic Four in this world became the first team of superheroes to reveal themselves to the world. Paradoxically, they were also the first to be visited by a deadly threat. To save his children from inevitable catastrophe, Reed Richards teleports them to the negative zone, where they are safe. However, this results in a powerful explosion that destroys the portal, and the children cannot be brought back. The genius scientist himself suffers serious injuries and cannot recover, with his life force rapidly fading. The only thing Reed asks of Sue is for her to take care of herself and warn the others. These are his last words. However, the first victim of the destruction is not Reed, but their team member, Ben. He literally turns into a handful of rocks and dust. He was always rushing to help, and when the threat got too close, Reed sacrificed himself. Unable to say goodbye to the deceased, Sue hears a strange noise coming from the adjacent room. She decides to use her abilities to become invisible and hide in case there is a threat in that room. When Sue finally reached the source of the noise, a terrible sight met her eyes. Johnny Storm was badly injured and struggling to escape the burning ship, grasping at anything, a screw, a nail in the floor, anything to get away from his pursuer. Out of the wreckage appeared Wade Wilson, better known as Deadpool, his body covered in severe burns from Johnny's earlier attack. But for someone with a healing factor like Deadpool, this was no problem. And the question of who had inflicted those burns would soon be answered. Deadpool delicately pressed his favorite katana to Johnny's throat and swiftly sliced it through, silently and smoothly. Sue was there, trying to remain unnoticed and survive to warn the world of the danger, as Reed had instructed her. But the bloody mess caused by the assassin made her visible. Wade was pleased to see her, but his joy was short-lived. He had overlooked an important detail. Sue was trying to understand why Deadpool was committing such horrible acts. Perhaps someone was using the talkative mercenary for their own selfish purposes. But it no longer mattered. Deadpool's head exploded from within, revealing the most important detail that he had forgotten. This is what Sue was capable of. The decapitated body of the mercenary fell lifeless next to Johnny. Sue thought that the suffering had ended, but Deadpool quickly reminded her that it was time to learn some important life lessons, especially to never turn your back on your opponent, especially when there is regeneration involved. Once again, Wade used his katana, filling Sue's heart with the highest grade steel in seconds. There was no more Sue, no more Fantastic Four. The world would never know what awaited it in the near future. The Fantastic Four became the first family to vanish into oblivion. And on this horrific note, we bid farewell to the first part.